It's like someone showed a bot 1,000 hours of Power Rangers and asked it to write its own Power Rangers script. 3 kids become superheroes dressed like robot bugs after breaking into a haunted house and meeting a genie that looks like Elvis. They have to fight the forces of evil and maintain their secret identities while trying not to get eaten by Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, and the Mummy, who live in the haunted house with the genie who gave them their powers. Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and this is the history of Big Bad Beetleborgs. Look, I've been eating cereal since I was a kid. I never stopped. What I mean is, I frequently eat cereal as a meal, as a snack, not that I've been eating cereal non-stop for 40 years. But if you're trying to cut down on carbs or sugar, trying to eat healthier, the cereal you ate when you were 10 might not be the best fit. Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Also, only 140 calories. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. You can try Magic Spoon's best-selling flavors in a 4-flavor variety pack, including cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. Magic Spoon is healthy and delicious. It tastes exactly like regular cereal from your childhood, but is super nutritious. Click the link below to grab a variety pack and try it today, and be sure to use the promo code TOYGALAXY at checkout to get $5 off any order, or go to magicspoon.com/toygalaxy. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Click the link below and use the code TOYGALAXY for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/toygalaxy to save $5 today. That's magicspoon.com/toygalaxy to save $5 today, and thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video. Big Bad Beetleborgs is an 88-episode live-action television series that ran 2 seasons from 1996 to 1998. It's what happens when everyone in the writer's room is pitching ideas and no one ever says no to any of it. Yes, great ideas, all of it. Put all of it in. Andrew and Josephine McCormick, along with their friend Roland Williams, are challenged by 2 pretentious jerks named Van and Trip to spend an hour in Hillhurst Mansion. Hillhurst Mansion is notorious in the town of Charterville for being haunted. Haunted by what or whom is the question. Once inside, the 5 kids quickly discover that they're, real monsters! Similar to, but legally distinct from, the Universal monsters are Saban-verse versions of Dracula, Frankenstein, Mummy, and the Wolfman, Count Fangula, Frankenbeans, Mums, and Wolfgang Wolfie Smith, respectively. The monsters make clear their intent to eat the kids, but their efforts are spoiled by the accidental arousal of a genie-like entity called Flabber. Flabber, a mix of Jay Leno, Elvis, Liberace, Beetlejuice, and Jim Carrey's The Mask into a single entity that resembles but is legally distinct from Robin Williams' genie from Disney's Aladdin. In exchange for ending his imprisonment in the haunted pipe organ in the haunted mansion, Flabber offers Drew, Joe, and Roland a single wish. After a moment reflecting on how to use their wish, they decide to become real-life comic book superheroes. Makes sense, Roland's family owns a comic book store called Zoom Comics. It's a frequent hangout for all the kids in town, and there's nothing hotter in comics than the Beetleborgs. In fact, the reason Drew suggests they use their wish to become superheroes is to impress a girl named Heather who works at the comic book store. Big Bad Beetleborgs is a love story. After a brief misunderstanding where Flabber turns the kids into actual beetles, Drew becomes the blue stinger Beetleborg, Joe is the red striker Beetleborg, Roland is the green hunter Beetleborg. As the Beetleborgs, the kids are covered in powerful armor with weapons and abilities to match. Drew's telekinesis, Joe's super strength, and Roland's super speed can all be utilized even when the kids aren't transformed, but no television or movie wish has ever been granted that didn't have unintended consequences. Flabber is a bit eccentric, and in the process of bringing the comic book heroes to life and merging their powers with the 3 well-intentioned kids, he also brings the villains of the story to life. The Magnivores and their leader, Vexor, are now as real as the heroes. Even if the kids didn't want to be superheroes, now they have no choice. They must ally themselves with Flabber and protect the town of Charterville, or Vexor will easily conquer it. One step toward total world domination. In 1993, Saban Entertainment introduced the world to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, a dream fulfilled for Saban himself, having tried and failed to bring multicolored Japanese superheroes to the United States many years before. Saban Entertainment's incredible success adapting Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers established a new template for Saban and others to follow for quick, inexpensive to produce television for kids. It demonstrated that there was a new market of consumers ready to watch and purchase all the associated merchandise, which would also be inexpensively imported from Japan. Saban Entertainment successfully replicated the formula with other Japanese shows as well. Masked Rider in 1995 borrowed footage from Kamen Rider Black RX, and more importantly, 1994's VR Trooper, which borrowed footage from Superhuman Machine Metalder, Dimensional Warrior Spielbahn, and Space Sheriff Scheider. VR Troopers lasted 2 seasons for a total of 92 episodes, making it the second most successful Saban live-action television superhero adaptation after Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where Power Rangers used footage from a subgenre of Japanese superheroes called Super Sentai, and Masked Rider mirrored the Kamen Rider subgenre. VR Troopers was the beneficiary of the Metal Heroes subgenre. Metal Heroes as a subgenre was born in Japan in 1982 with the series Space Sheriff Gavan. Like Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, each year since 1982 brought a new Metal Heroes series with new characters, new armor designs, new villains. Most of them revolving around a cybernetically enhanced or robotic law enforcement officer of one type or another. That changed in 1995 with the series Juukou B-Fighter or Heavy Shell Beetle Fighter. The heroes were still cybernetically enhanced superheroes, but now the armor was distinctly insect-inspired in its design. Whether in Japan or in the US, the goal of these shows is ultimately to sell toys. The annual reboot means an annual refresh of the toy shelves. The point of the thing is to constantly renew the look, the theme, the gadgets, the giant robots, the everything. But if the sales are lacking, then more drastic measures have to be taken. In another world, VR Troopers goes on for one more season, and Juukou B-Fighter is the new theme for their armor and gadgets. Saban was precariously low on footage remaining from the original 3 shows that made up VR Troopers and needed to decide how to proceed. A transition from one series designs to another needs to be accounted for in the narrative. 2 seasons in, VR Troopers wasn't doing so well on the toy shelves. Masked Rider was also languishing, neither living up to the standards set by Power Rangers. Saban took the opportunity to go in a different direction to make something that stood out from what they had previously produced. Zyuranger, Kamen Rider, Juukou B-Fighter, and all of the Japanese series that Saban pulled from were more violent and more mature in their presentation in Japan than the adaptations in the US. The result was a collection of shows whose audience skewed even younger in the US than they did in Japan. Saban Entertainment embraced that idea and developed a show that was hyper-targeted to what the kids were into, from Goosebumps to Ace Ventura to, Power Rangers, and making the kids themselves the heroes.
Oh man, I told you the Beetleborgs house was haunted. Whoa, check it out, a haunted house playset, just like the show, with all the house monsters and Flabber. Cool, collapsing stairs. Hold on to the railing, Flabber, on your way down. Hey look, a revolving bookcase.
Beetleborgs Haunted House playset comes with monsters and Flabber. New Beetleborg Metallix action figures, each sold separately. Bend back, action to satisfaction.
Substantial time is given to the characters out of costume, developing the characters without their supersuits. The first 2 episodes of the series hardly feature any of the footage borrowed from the original Japanese source. Saban Entertainment did so much work to create the world that one wonders if they could have made the show without even using any Japanese footage at all. But you can't sell the toys that already exist without using the footage of the action that already exists. By the end of the first season, it was time to wrap up the plot lines that included character designs from Juukou B-Fighter and move on to the next season's worth of character designs and fight scenes from B-Fighter Kabuto. Big Bad Beetleborgs became Beetleborgs Metallix for Season 2, and comic book artist / Beetleborgs creator Art Fortunes, along with his evil brother Les Fortunes, became integral parts of the narrative, their creations battling each other in the streets on a daily basis, trying to destroy and or protect the small town. Right or wrong, the cast of Big Bad Beetleborgs and Beetleborgs Metallix were non-union to keep the cost of the production as low as possible. Like Power Rangers before it, that caused some narrative issues that required extra creative writing. Shannon Chandler, who played Jo, left midway through the first season, replaced by Brittany Konarzewski. The writers covered up this change in casting by having her character fall victim to a spell that changed her physical appearance. Flabber casts a counterspell that makes everyone in the world think she still looks and sounds the same, a solution that every show should use from now on. The cast also featured Vivian Smallwood as Roland's grandmother, Nano Williams. She, along with Roland's parents, are the owners and managers of Zoom Comics. In 2006, Vivian appeared on an episode of America's Got Talent as Rappin' Granny. Billy Forrester, who played Flabber and sang the extended version of the Beetleborgs theme song, was not only a contestant on the US version of The Weakest Link, but he won, taking home nearly $60,000. Wherever Saban Entertainment can be found, Shuki Levy will be there. But not on the theme music this time. The series music was composed by Einan Zur. Levy, a prolific composer, co-wrote the first 2 episodes of Big Bad Beetleborgs with Shel Danielson, and like VR Troopers before, directed both episodes, setting the tone for the rest of the series to follow. Most of the toys you could have wanted from Big Bad Beetleborgs had already been produced by Bandai in Japan for Juukou B-Fighter and B-Fighter Kabuto. Action figures in multiple scales for all 3 hero characters, villains, and characters like Shadowborg, the evil clone of Drew's Blue Stinger Beetleborg. Battery-powered vehicles like the Blue Stinger RV, full-size roleplay items like the Sonic Laser or the Thunder Stinger, deluxe robots like Gigantus, the Mobile Attack Carrier, and even a Beetle Battle-based playset that came with all 3 mini ATV vehicles and smaller-scale figures. And remember, any products that existed at the time for Juukou B-Fighter and B-Fighter Kabuto, or that have been produced since, are also Beetleborg toys. In 2015, Bandai released fully articulated 6-inch scale versions of all 3 heroes that will fit right in with your import Power Rangers, Masked Rider, and VR Troopers figures. Beetleborgs appeared in comic books in our world as well, and that's a good thing regardless of however brief it was. Despite Saban's ownership of both the Power Rangers and Beetleborg franchises, and their intent to do so, they were unable to execute a crossover on either series. In 1997, that crossover would finally happen in Acclaim and Valiant Comics. Saban presents Power Rangers Turbo vs. Beetleborgs Metallix. It was the second of only 3 issues of a comic anthology series called Saban Powerhouse. If nothing else, it's easier and a heck of a lot cheaper to pull off a crossover like that in the comics rather than trying to develop it for television. Unfortunately, the Beetleborgs got caught up in the wild storm called Extreme Studios, headed by Rob Liefeld. Liefeld, one of the founders of Image Comics in 1992, was one of the hottest artists in the business at the time. In 1996, Extreme Studios owned the license to produce comics based on Saban Entertainment properties like Power Rangers and Beetleborgs. However, Liefeld had his hands full in 1996. Marvel was suing him over his creation of a character that wasn't legally distinct enough from Captain America. His Image co-founders and business partners were kicking him out of the business because he was making a lot of decisions that were detrimental to their businesses. Only 1 issue of Power Rangers Zeo was ever produced, written by Tom and Mary Bierbaum, illustrated by Todd Nauck. Advertisements in the book teased the possibility of additional issues of Power Rangers Zeo, a Power Rangers Youngblood crossover, and a Beetleborgs series. It's fun to imagine what might have been, but as a wise man once said, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. Happy Meal toys, branded sunglasses, stickers. Beetleborgs weren't featured on quite the same scale of licensed merchandise as Power Rangers, but they added to the sustained Saban Entertainment presence throughout kids' media. Some episodes of Beetleborgs were released on VHS by 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment in the 90s. In 2001, the rights to Beetleborgs transferred to Disney with the purchase of Fox Kids Worldwide, which included Saban Entertainment. In 2010, Saban's new company, Saban Capital Group, purchased the Power Rangers and Beetleborgs back from Disney and started releasing the series on home media. By 2015, Shout Factory had released the entire series on DVD. You can track down the physical media, or you can purchase all of Season 1 streaming in standard definition on Amazon. The future of distribution is up to Hasbro, as Beetleborgs were part of the purchase of Saban Capital Group in 2018. Beetleborgs ended when the supply of footage it was borrowing from Juukou B-Fighter and B-Fighter Kabuto ended. It's the inherent danger of relying on another production's content. One year they might just stop making the things you need to make your show. You can go along with the new direction, make your own new scenes with the existing costumes, or call it quits. Where Power Rangers maintained a consistent model of costumes, themes, characters, and tone over 30 years, 45 in Japan, the Metal Hero series essentially ended in 1996. 1997's B-Robo Kabutak took a complete tonal shift, looking more like amusement park characters, an extreme departure from the Robocop-ish military and police heroes that had been the focus. Even though Beetleborgs Metallix was a solid performer through Season 2, Saban Entertainment chose to take the hit and focus their efforts on the continuation of the Power Rangers franchise. And while Power Rangers has changed ownership more than once, it continues through today. During its time at Disney in 2005, there was talk about a potential Beetleborgs spin-off that would have focused on the various monster characters that lived at Hillhurst Mansion, but that never materialized. Sometimes it is better to leave the dead undisturbed. Who knows what might have been unleashed from the haunted organ this time. It wasn't the Beetleborgs themselves, but some of the suits made an appearance on Power Rangers in 2002 as part of the Machine Empire. During the Power Rangers 10th anniversary celebration episode Forever Red, 9 former Red Rangers and the current Wild Force Red Ranger are seen battling General Venjix and his associates. Venjix is the Shadowborg suit from Big Bad Beetleborgs. His associates are either renamed suits from Beetleborgs or suits that have been mixed and matched to create new characters. Beetleborgs as a trademark is currently abandoned. Hasbro's focus is on the Power Rangers, and any characters that might be featured appear as part of that series. Metal heroes have made appearances over the years, including Space Sheriff Gavan as Captain Chaku and Jiraiya as Sheriff Skyfire. Big Bad Beetleborgs and Beetleborgs Metallix were a highly successful series with ratings that actually outpaced the ratings for Power Rangers during those seasons. They were a creative high point for Saban Entertainment and their unique production process, even though it was that very process that led to their demise. Thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who already are. If you haven't heard, we started streaming on Twitch. Find us twice a week at twitch.tv/toygalaxy. If you're in the position to help the channel grow, please visit our Patreon or become a YouTube channel member. Please share this video and let us know in the comments down below if you were into Big Bad Beetleborgs. Were you won over by the original characters? Did it seem like a knockoff of Power Rangers because you were 10 and didn't pay attention to who made the things? Or did it inspire you to seek out the original Japanese series and create a lifelong love for tokusatsu?
Cut.
None of the above?
None of the above.